Today, I'm breaking down 3 moments where Anthropic's logic fails the classroom. And stick around, because at the end, I'm giving you the Earn AI rule, a simple, enforceable system I use to make sure AI stays a tool and doesn't become a crutch.
One stat that always comes up is 47% of the student interactions on Claude were very direct, transactional types of interactions with little engagement.
Anthropic just said the quiet part out loud. In their latest strategy video, they admitted that 47% of student interactions with AI are purely transactional. Just do it for me. They name the risk perfectly, but then they design a system that makes that exact risk the path of least resistance. I spent many years in the classroom from K-12 to my current role as professor here in South Korea, and I've seen this movie before. We are being promised a Socratic tutor, but we're being handed a fast food answer machine. Let's look at the first break in logic.
I think the students are kind of flipping the script on this in a way that's concerning to us as educators. And I don't know if that's necessarily, I think the first blush reaction is that that's a bad thing.
Anthropic admits their models weren't built for education, they were built for productivity tasks. In other words, speed. Maggie from their team notes that students are flipping the script in ways that's concerning. No kidding. If I give a student a tool that is 90% optimized for answering and 10% for tutoring, which side do you think they'll use? Systems do not train values, they train habits. If the easiest path is ask and receive, the system quietly trains dependency. We aren't scaling discernment, which they talk about, we are scaling outsourcing. I see this in my prompt engineering classes every week. If I don't set a constraint, my students' first instinct isn't to explore the concept, it's to get the green checkmark. Anthropic's design ignores this fundamental human reality of teacher fatigue and student burnout. This is the one that really got me.
I think it was one Northeastern professor who told us that they're never going to assign a traditional essay again because they just had too many students submitting, these AI assignments.
They mention a professor who says they'll never assign a traditional essay again. Anthropic frames this as challenging the baseline. I call it the essay surrender. Listen, I have a doctorate in curriculum and assessment design. I know essays aren't perfect, but we don't assign essays because the format is sacred. We assign them because they are a sustained thinking task. They force you to retrieve information, structure an argument, and sit with a problem for more than 30 seconds. When we remove the task because AI can do it, we aren't adapting, we are advocating.
I think one thing that really stands out to me is interactive learning experiences. I have this very vivid memory of when I was in the classroom. My students did a virus simulator game that was fully programmed. They were the virus and they worked into the cell and they replicated. And the engagement that I saw from my classroom that day was unlike anything else. And I think most teachers have seen something like this.
From Anthropic talks about interactive learning and the virus simulators. She says the engagement was unlike anything else. Here's the teacher-to-teacher truth. Engagement is not evidence of learning, it is evidence of attention. You can be 100% engaged in a video game and learn 0 transferable skills. Real learning requires friction. It requires that moment of, I don't know the answer, and it's frustrating. Anthropic's learning mode aims to smooth the path. But in education, a path that is too smooth leads nowhere. If AI handles the friction, the student never builds the cognitive muscle to handle the struggle. We are mistaking momentum for mastery. Let's talk about the tutoring claim.
One thing that I'm really excited about AI could provide is personalized learning. There was a research done on one-on-one tutoring. And what they found is that on average, the average student that had one-on-one tutoring is better than the 98th percentile of students that didn't have one-on-one tutoring or just a classroom setup.
Ephraim cites the famous 2 Sigma research showing that one-on-one tutoring is the gold standard. But there is a massive leap here. A human tutor doesn't just give information, they notice. They see the student bite their lip. They notice the 3-second hesitation before an answer. They withhold the solution on purpose. An AI tutor is built on a large language model whose fundamental nature is to comply. It wants to be helpful. Being helpful is the enemy of being a tutor. A tutor is a challenger. If the AI's primary metric is user satisfaction, it will always eventually cave and give the answer.
So the initial version actually took a very short period of time. This is a number of people that are extremely passionate about, adding this capability. It took us about 2 weeks from start to finish, and it was amazing.
They mentioned learning mode took 2 weeks to build. You cannot solve the compliance versus challenge problem in 2 weeks. That's a deep architectural conflict. So what do? We don't ban it, we change the order. In my classroom, I use the Earn AI rule. It's how I lighten the load without losing the learning. No AI until there is a handwritten outline or a 300-word ugly draft written offline. You have to prove you have a thought before the AI is allowed to polish it. Students must submit 3 sentences explaining why they asked the AI a specific question. I don't let them ask for answers. I give them a template where they must ask the AI to find the holes in my argument. This flips the default. The fastest path is no longer outsourcing. The fastest path is doing the work so you can earn the right to use the tool. It gives teachers their time back because we aren't policing cheating. We are grading the thinking process.
We heard them talking about brain rot, and they, realized that in the short term, they can use AI chatbots to help them, just finish an assignment. But
Anthropic is right about the risk, but they're wrong about the solution. The solution isn't better design, it's better pedagogy. If you're tired of the AI arms race in your classroom, you'll want to watch this one next. Let me know in the comments, do you think learning mode will actually help, or is it just brain rot with a different logo? I'll see you in the next one.